Hello, my name is Dr. Frederick B. Covington and I'm an occupational therapist. Thank you for joining me today in this discussion on effective parental communication. By the end of this conversation, we will have a clearer understanding of the benefits of parental effective communication and inclusion. Moreover, we will explore possible action steps in order to increase parental caretaker participation. Now, working as a school-based occupational therapist is different than working in a medical setting. In a hospital, private clinic, nursing home, or rehab center, on many occasions the patient's family is there to be supportive. This is not the case in school settings. However, parents or guardians' involvement is essential. If parents are involved, it can have the following benefits. Number one, it helps children stay motivated. Even if you have a good relationship with the students you're working with, parents know their children best. They know what works to keep their child motivated and working hard. Number two, it keeps everyone on the same page. You never want parents to feel out of the loop and not know what's going on with therapy. Think of parents as part of the team. Parents should be updated on how their child is progressing. Number three, it reinforces therapy at home. Parents and caregivers can maximize the benefits of therapy. As a school-based therapist, you might only spend 60 minutes each week with your students, but parents are around their children a lot more than that. Although every interaction will not be about targeting goals, parents can reinforce therapy at home. Number four, it increases chances of success. Everyone needs a cheerleader on their side. Although therapists and teachers can encourage students, kids also need their parents or guardians to provide support and assistance. And number five, it creates a collaborative environment. When you get parents involved, it makes them feel they are actively engaged in their child's therapy and success. But a collaborative environment does not only benefit parents, it also helps you. Parents may have unique insight on how to work effectively with their child. They know what works and what doesn't work. Now, students typically spend only 25% of their waking hours in school and far less of that with the occupational therapist. Accordingly, out-of-school factors account for the vast majority of differences in OT objective and goal achievement. Occupational therapists may be underinvesting in strategies to leverage one of the largest out-of-school influences of students' OT success, and that would be their parents. The positive relationship between parental involvement in their children's education and student success in school is widely documented. When Americans are asked about the most important priorities for improving student achievement, they consistently cite increased parental support as a top priority. At the same time, evidence suggests that schools overall are failing to fully engage parents and provide them with information about what their children are learning and how they're performing in school. Only 4 out of every 10 families with school-aged children in the U.S. report receiving a phone call specifically about their child from a school administrator, special education team member, or a teacher. Now, among secondary school parents, 66% do not agree that school staff keeps them informed about classroom activities, events, or requirements. And fewer than 1 in 4 parents can name a basic milestone or specific specialized goal that their child should have learned in school over the previous year. Now, there is growing research in regards to the positive benefits of parental involvement. One such study has recently been conducted at Harvard University. Now, the purpose of this study was to examine the effects of a light touch communication intervention specifically aimed at increasing parents supporting their child's success in school. Here, each week parents were sent brief individualized messages from teachers about their child's performance in school. One of the central purposes of this experimental study was to document the direct causal relationship between parent-child interaction and student performance in school. In further experiments, It was found that frequent teacher-parent phone calls increased student engagement as measured by homework completion, in-class behavior, and in-class participation. Also, it was found that sending parents text messages when their child was missing assignments resulted in significant gains in GPA, test scores, and measures of student engagement. Now, if we don't establish good communication, this is a potential scenario that we may run into. One day after school, while Johnny is sitting at the dinner table, Mom asked, "What did you do in OT today?" Johnny looked up at his mother and replied, "We colored." Now, let's say that the mother asked the occupational therapist what was done in therapy today. The occupational therapist would reply, "Johnny colored in a color by number sheet to work on visual perceptual skills and matching while laying on his belly to increase upper extremity strength and stability. He is working to increase his endurance for writing." And there's another scenario. Anaya and her father are driving home from school. Her father asks, "What did you do in OT today?" Anaya smiles and laughs and says, "We played games. We had so much fun." Now, if the father was to ask the occupational therapist the same question, the OT would reply something like this: "We've been working on visual perceptual skills and fine motor skills. Anaya has trouble tracking from left to right when copying from the board. We also played Battleship because it works on all of those skills at once." Now, with these two example scenarios, you can clearly see what good communication can bring to occupational therapy. So, you now know having parents involved in school-based therapy is helpful and also examples of various means to establish communication. Here are the key things you want to keep in mind when communicating effectively. You want to respect differences. You're not going to have the same parenting philosophy as every parent you meet. It's important to understand parents may have cultural, social, or religious views that are very different from yours. You don't have to agree with anyone else's views, but should respect them. You also need to talk regularly. Make it a priority to establish regular communication with parents or guardians. Consider talking to parents twice a month to give them an update on how therapy is progressing. How often you choose to speak with the parents may vary based on the size of your caseload, but it needs to be on a regular basis. Next, you want to value their perspective. Parents have a unique perspective in that they know their child best. You're the therapist, but a parent's perspective on what their child needs should also be valued. You want to provide specifics. If you want a parent to work with their child at home and assign homework, make sure you talk specifics. Don't assume parents know what you're working on. The next, you want to be realistic. Not every family can spend the same amount of time working with their child at home. Some parents work many hours a week or have other family members to care for. Be realistic about the expectations you set. Now, I'd like to thank you for joining me for this exploration of effective communication. I'm Dr. Frederick B. Covington, occupational therapist. Take care, and we'll see you next time.